Sean O'Malley has become one of the most entertaining fighters on the entire UFC roster. Not just because of his wins, but because of his style and the personality that comes with it. O'Malley has been like this from the start. A highlight reel knockout on Dana White's Contender Series. Welcome to the Sugar Show. He was cocky, but he backed it up with his performances, and quickly he began building a following. From there, he made his way to the Ultimate Fighter finale, winning a unanimous decision. He was putting on striking clinics and building a fanbase that could already see the potential. His crisp striking, his ankle cutting, his head movement, this allowed him to outclass his opponents on the feet. The hair, the look, the way he carried himself. He wasn't like anyone else in the UFC. People started to know who Sean O'Malley was before they even knew how good he actually was. And as he gained more experience, his confidence only grew, and so too did his performances. Aside from a loss to Marlon Vera caused by a damaged leg, he was making light work of the division. Quinones' head kick, followed up by an uppercut and ground and pound, first round finish. Eddie Wineland, clean right hand, walk off KO, another first round finish. He might have been the UFC's first clip farmer. Sean's composure in the octagon was unbelievable to watch, especially given at his age. Thomas Almeida, Chris Matinho, Julian Paiva, all finished within 3 rounds. And at this point it was time for a real test. Petr Yan, former champion. A win here would put O'Malley next in line for the belt. And after a very competitive and explosive 15 minutes with constant back and forth action, Sean won via split decision. It was razor close, and honestly it was one of those fights that could have gone either way. But now there was no denying it. Sean O'Malley belonged at the top of the division. And now it was a chance at UFC Gold. Aljamain Sterling, the bantamweight champion, a nightmare matchup for O'Malley, elite grappling, relentless pressure, and coming off a dominant win over Olympic gold medalist and double champ Henry Cejudo. The narrative was clear, this fight is only going to end one way. But Sean didn't buy into that, and in round 2 he caught Sterling with a perfectly timed counter right hand, dropped him, followed up with ground and pound, and just like that, Sean O'Malley was the UFC bantamweight champion. He shocked the world and proved that he wasn't just hype, he was a superstar. Sean then faced Marlon Vera in a rematch the following year, looking to avenge the only loss of his UFC career. And this time it wasn't close. O'Malley put on a masterclass, dominating Cheeto for 25 minutes in one of the most one-sided fights in recent memory. Cheeto ate huge shots, including a perfectly timed knee that somehow didn't put him out, but it didn't matter. O'Malley won via unanimous decision and had successfully defended his title against the man that had previously beat him. Then came Merab Dvalishvili, a completely different challenge. Merab had been tearing through the division, beating Jose Aldo, Petr Yan, and Henry Cejudo. He wasn't a finisher like O'Malley, but his pressure, his pace, his cardio, it didn't look human. He had even set the record for the most takedown attempts in a fight, 49 against Petr Yan. And considering how close Sean's fight with Yan was, this matchup was dangerous. Despite hurting Merab to the body late in the fight, it simply wasn't enough. Merab's pressure and relentless pace earned him a decision win. Sean's title run was over, but Sean was given an immediate rematch, a decision that many fans disagreed with, believing he was getting special treatment from the UFC and Dana White. But the second fight was even more decisive from Merab. He dominated, and this time he finished Sean with a north-south choke in the 3rd round, a much clearer result than the first fight. Looking to rebuild, Sean faced Song Yadong, a dangerous prospect with explosive blitzes. It wasn't his most exciting performance, but it was composed, and over 3 rounds he did enough to secure a unanimous decision win. However, not enough to earn a title shot, yet. Many expected his next opponent to be Corey Sandhagen, or even Umar Nurmagomedov, but instead Sean O'Malley is now scheduled to fight Ayman Sahabi on one of the biggest stages in UFC history, the White House card. A chance to remind everyone just how dangerous he still is, and potentially earn another shot at the title, most likely in a rematch with Petr Yan, a fight that, given how close the first one was, could be one of the most exciting matchups in the UFC. Sean O'Malley's career has been anything but normal, from highlight reel knockouts to becoming champion to being brought back down to reality. Now the question is, can he climb back to the top and reclaim the spotlight? Because if there's one thing that we know for sure, the Sugar Show isn't over yet.